Speaking from experience, I do know that it could be very intimidating and hard to create a cybersecurity tailored resume. And in this video, I'm hoping that I can not only share how I would put a resume together, but also share my personal resume with all of you in order to help you prepare for your next job in cybersecurity. So with that said, I'm going to split this video into two different parts. Obviously, the first part is going to be where we talk about what should go into your resume. I'm going to talk about the 5 different pillars, and I'm going to help you put together your experience, your awards, your skills, and even your security certificates within your resume. Speaking of security certificates, I got to quickly give a shout out to our sponsors, Coursera, for making this video happen. If you're not familiar, Coursera has a lot of different certification, including the Google Cybersecurity Professional Certificate, which is a great starting point if you're just getting started in cybersecurity. This is a beginner certification, and not only it gives you the foundation that you need, but they also show you how to manage security risks, the basics of network security, as well as all the basic tools that you need to succeed. And it doesn't just stop at showing you everything you need to break into cybersecurity. They also help you with your resume, interview prep, and help plan your career with their job search. And guess what? It is 100% online, and you can learn at your own pace. And you can complete this program in under 6 months if you dedicate only 7 hours a week. So check it out. I'll link it down below. This is one that I would recommend. But let's jump back into the video and then cover what the second part of the video is going to be, which is my personal resume and how I use it. And of course, I'm going to share that resume template with you so you can also take it, copy it, and use it for yourself and style it however you see fit. The 5 pillars that I think are incredibly important to have for your resume starts with you. That is your first and last name that you want to have as the header of the resume, and then you want to put your information right below here. I've seen people do this in one line. You can do it also in multiple lines. That is all personal preference. I like to keep things very small and short because I want to stick to creating my resume within a single page. You can go up to 2 pages. That is completely up to you, and it is just depending on how much information you have and experience you have that you want to share. I keep it super simple and short, but that's just personal preference because I want to keep that resume short and tight. Second part is where you put all of this information that you want to present. And this is what I call how to make a great first impression, because this is what's going to matter and what the recruiters are going to look at before they can just even get to a screening. And sometimes this process could be done automatically using some tools. So hopefully with this video and what I'm going to give you, it's going to get you past the automation and get you to talk to a recruiter and then get you that first interview. So the first pillar after you put your information at the top is your profile. I've also seen people call this their highlights. This is where you want to talk about who you are. What are some skills that you are really, really good at? This could be things like you know about networking, maybe you know specific technology or stacks that you want to put on here. I personally don't like to do bullet formats of things I know. I like to write a paragraph about who I am. For example, I would say things like I have 10 years of cybersecurity experience. I'm a content creator and I've done educational content, courses, and things like that. And then it says things like I have an interest in web application hacking, automation, and bug bounty. Those are just examples of things that you can write. But I know people like to do more information, and you can give more information with bullet points. But again, personal preference for me is to write a paragraph about who I am. I also know people who do that in their cover letters. It's a completely different story for another video, but that's the first number 1 pillar, which is your profile or your highlights. 2 is your skills. You can think of your skills as anything that could be related to this job or could be translated over that could help with this job that you're applying to, whether it's things from project management or just very cybersecurity focused skills like particular tools, vulnerability types, and things that you know that are relevant to cybersecurity. And then things that I named are really tailored for pen testing. So in my resume, I would put things like Nmap, Burp Suite, OWASP Top 10, and so on. Then you want to move into your third section, which is your professional development. This is also sometimes referred to as your certificates. That all depends on who you are and what you want to include in your resume. It could be simple bullet points like this, where it just has the certification name and the year you have gotten it and so on. Keep it super simple, super short. But again, if you have other professional development that you have done on your own, you want to include it here. It shows that you are working on learning and becoming better, and also highlights your character a little bit more. You want to keep this this somewhere in the middle or the top of your resume, because a lot of times, even though the fourth pillar is going to be experience, recruiters are going to look at that no matter what. So by putting the professional development at the top or over experience, you're also kind of highlighting it and forcing them to look at that to show why you are qualified for this role, especially if your experience is coming from a different industry and you're just trying to jump into cybersecurity from a completely different background than what it is. Again, number 4 is experience. This is where you want to highlight your jobs, but I kind of want to talk about where you put your professional development before we jump into experience itself. So I kind of talked about experience. I'm going to go through it one more time. For experience, you want to list all of the different jobs you have had, starting with your most recent job or your current job, highlighting the tasks that you have done. So for the descriptions of your job, you don't want to get very specific about the project, but you want to instead talk about the responsibilities that you have and the initiatives that you have created. This way, you're kind of highlighting your skills, but also highlighting your strengths and showing what you're really, really good at and why you are the best fit for the job that you're signing up for. And number 5, and the last pillar of information for this, is your education. I've honestly contemplated a lot of times to remove this from my resume. A lot of times your education or degree you have may not really be relevant to the job that you're applying. It is something that is personal experience. So if you don't have the space for it and you already have a ton of good experience and a ton of good certifications, you're welcome to remove it. When I was a hiring manager at HackerOne, I was going through a lot of different resumes. I never cared about the education. I cared more to understand how willing you were to learn and also what was your experience like and can that translate to the job or the role that we're hiring for. But now we're going to take a look at an example resume, which is mine. I'm going to share it with you. It'll be linked down below. And this is kind of what my resume looks like. You can see at the top, I have my name. I put some really cool titles of things that I've done in the past at a super high level. You have your phone number. I put my LinkedIn profile here. A lot of times they care to go look at that stuff. Then I have my website. If you don't have your website, you can remove this and replace it with something else. And then you have your email. These two are really important to have, so make sure you highlight them and put them on there. And I've seen people put their address on there. I don't put them on there for OPSEC reasons, but you're more than welcome to remove some of these, and maybe instead of your website, you can put your address on there instead. Then you can see my profile at the very top. It talks about who I am. I'm a cybersecurity professional, content creator, ethical hacker with 8 years of experience, and kind of talks about what I'm interested in and some of my high-level bug bounty achievements. How about HackerOne? And in Bugcrowd, I was top 20 sometimes. Even though I personally don't have any security certificates, I wanted to kind of put those on here for you to kind of see what they look like. But again, I don't have any of these certifications, but you can see this is how I would put them on here if I did have any certificates. For example, if I have the Google Cybersecurity Professional Certification, I got it last year in 2022, I put the year on there, and then my OSCP in 2021. The reason why I include the year is because you want to also show the progression of things you're learning, how you're learning them, and also shows that every year you put in the time and the extra effort to invest in yourself to learn and gain skills that are suitable for your job. On the left-hand side, you can see education. The reason why it's at the top here is because it just looked aesthetically better to put it in that corner with how small it is. But honestly, if you don't want to put that there, you're more than welcome to remove or push it down at the bottom of the screen. But also you can see my skills. So here I have my automation, reconnaissance. I'm good at web and API hacking, but I also know OWASP top 10 common vulnerabilities. And then you can see the tools that I use like CVSS, Burp Suite, SQLmap, AMAS, and Nmap. These are just tools that I'm very comfortable with, and I know as a pen tester or someone who's going to get into offensive security, I have to be familiar with, but you can also change them and tailor them to whatever job you are applying for. And on the left side, still you can see my awards. These are different than my professional development, and you can see that the awards are still, some of them are hacking related, and some of them are just about my character and who I am as Ben.nahamsec. So it talks about my awards as Man of the Year with the LLS Foundation, which was Leukemia Lymphoma Society in 2020. Shout outs to all the Nahomies that helped support this and make it happen. Then you can see that I'm a hacker millionaire on HackerOne since 2023. Then I can also talk about my award that I got from Portswigger for having the second best web hacking techniques at DEF CON. And I'm also a HackerOne Elite, and I've also had the most P1 submissions in Bugcrowd in the year of 2015. Kind of outdated. I'll probably remove this eventually and not have it on there. Then you can see my professional experience. These are the professional jobs that I've done. You can see there's a brief description of each job. So for example, here I'm a founder on the Nahamsec LLC. I work for myself now. I've been doing it for a couple of years with bug bounties and content. It talks about all the different conferences I've done. Again, this is a little bit outdated, so it doesn't have all my new ones. It isn't perfect. It's just an old resume that I could share with you guys. But it also has my trainings, the talks that I've done, and it talks about all the cool vulnerabilities that I've found that are also very, very technical driven that talks about my technical skills. Then you have the manager at Hacker Education and also my hacker operations work at HackerOne. You can see that even though I worked at HackerOne since 2016, 2015, I didn't include my first role in there. And that's because I just didn't want this to become too long. But you can also see the highlights of my career and some of the different responsibilities or initiatives that I've created within HackerOne. There's only one thing that I'm missing here. As you can see, you want to keep your resume consistent. So the only thing that I would want to do here to kind of improve my resume here is maybe add a blurb here about the different certificates that I've gotten, but also make sure it stays consistent with the fonts that I have used down below. That's because you want to make sure your entire resume, all the spacing, all the different things you have in there are really consistent with everything else within your resume. Honestly, with AI and ChatGPT nowadays, you can do so much to improve your resumes, but I want to kind of share what mine looks like. Maybe this will help you get an idea what to do when you're putting your resume together for your first cybersecurity job, or even if you're just updating it for your next role. Do me a favor if you haven't already. If you like videos like this, hit that like button and drop me a comment and let me know if you want to watch more videos about professional career development, resume building, and just cybersecurity as a career. I would love to make content like this, but I just do need to hear from you and see if this is something that interests you in the future so I can invest more of my time into it. All right, that's it. Thank you for watching. I will see you all in next week's video. Peace.